He's not just a fighter. He's a warrior stitched from steel and sacrifice. Tall, relentless, and carved in grit, Mario Barrios doesn't just show up. He goes to war. A pressure fighter with sniper-like precision, he walks opponents down with calm chaos. Long reach, sharp combos, and a body attack that breaks wolves round by round. He's battle-tested, fearless, and built for war, one punch at a time. Now competing among the best at welterweight, he's not here to survive. He's here to conquer. And outside the ring, he's cruising San Antonio in a custom Dodge Hellcat, rocking designer gear and living the high life earned through grit, not gimmicks. This is a man who built his name and his fortune the hard way. So, before we unpack the rise, the resilience, and the raw arsenal of Mario Barrios, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because this isn't just another comeback story. It's the rise of El Azteca. Mario Thomas Barrios was born on May 18th, 1995, in San Antonio, Texas, where quiet streets and hot summers shaped a young boy with fists full of ambition. Nobody could have guessed that this disciplined, respectful kid would eventually stand toe-to-toe with legends and emerge a world champion. But boxing has a way of revealing who's cut from steel. By 2013, he turned professional, a 140-pound technician with sniper-like precision and surprising knockout power. He climbed fast, but it wasn't until 2019 that the world truly took notice. In a brutal showdown with Badr Akhmedov, he dropped him twice and walked away with the WBA super lightweight crown. That title was more than a belt. It was entry into a new world. He defended it, battled heavy hitters like Gervonta Davis and Keith Thurman, and took the leap to welterweight, where the stakes and the punches were even higher. Yet through every setback, he clawed his way back. A body shot KO of Giovanni Santiago, a stunner over Yildiz Ugas to secure the interim WBC title, and finally full WBC welterweight champion after Crawford was named champion in recess. As of 2025, his career earnings, endorsements, pay-per-view shares, and merch ventures have built him into a $3 million man, a testament to both his skill and resilience. But this elevation only brings more spotlight. Draws with Abel Ramos and Manny Pacquiao have sparked questions. Can he turn close calls into dominant reigns? And how much more greatness and wealth awaits at the top? He didn't explode onto the scene. He burned slowly like a fuse. And when Mario Barrios finally went off, the boxing world had no choice but to watch. He wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. But every time he stepped into the ring, he made noise the only way he knew how, through pain and precision. Then came May 11th, 2019, a date that marked more than just another fight. Against one Jose Velasco, Barrios delivered a body shot so brutal it crumpled his opponent like paper. It was the kind of finish that echoes, not just in the arena, but through divisions. For months later, he stepped into a war that would change everything. On the undercard of Spence versus Porter, he faced Badr Akhmedov, an undefeated, relentless machine. What followed wasn't just a boxing match. It was a survival test. He dropped Akhmedov in the 4th and again in the 12th, but not without paying a price. His face swollen and barely recognizable. He hung on to win a controversial, unanimous decision. Some called it a gift. Others called it grit. But what no one could deny was that Barrios had earned his badge in blood, and with it, the WBA super lightweight world title. In 2020, Barrios defended his title in front of a home crowd at the Alamo Dome against Ryan Carl. What began as a technical fight quickly devolved into a wild shootout. A head clash split Carl open. Blood everywhere. Chaos reigned. But amid it all, Barrios stayed composed. In the 6th round, he ended it with a savage left hook that folded Carl. Proof that beneath the quiet smile was a finisher born from mayhem. Then came Gervonta Davis. The fight was billed as a clash of styles. Tank's explosiveness versus Barrios' range and heart. For 8 rounds, Barrios held his own, even outboxing Davis at times. But eventually, the storm came. 2 knockdowns in the 8th, another in the 11th. The referee stepped in, and with it came his first professional loss. But here's the thing about Mario Barrios. He doesn't disappear after defeat. He evolves. He moved up to welterweight. No soft touch. No rebuilding fight. Straight into the fire with Keith, one-time Thurman. Barrios gave a strong showing, but dropped a clear decision. 2 losses in a row. Critics whispered, maybe he peaked. Maybe he's not built for the bigger weight class. He answered the whispers a year later, in the same building where he once lifted his first world title, the Alamo Dome, this time against Giovanni Santiago. 7 rounds of tactical warfare. Then, in the 8th, a left hook to the liver that echoed like thunder. Santiago dropped, tried to rise, and was met by a ruthless onslaught. Barrios didn't just win. He announced he was still here, and dangerous. 7 months later, he walked into the T-Mobile Arena as a 5-1 underdog against Denis Ugas, a Cuban technician, former world champion, and Olympic medalist. Most thought it was a step too far. But Barrios thrives in chaos. He dropped Ugas early, battered him late, and outboxed the veteran over 12 commanding rounds. Even when Ugas began spitting out his mouthpiece in desperation to stop the clock, it wasn't enough. The judges saw what everyone else did, domination. He was now the WBC interim welterweight champion. Next came Fabian Maidana, heavy-handed and dangerous. On the Canelo versus Munguia co-main, the world watched as Barrios dropped him in the 3rd and controlled the tempo through the rest. Swollen eye? No problem. He boxed, pressed, and powered his way to a unanimous decision. Then came the moment that changed everything. When Terence Crawford was declared champion in recess, Barrios didn't wait for fanfare. He was elevated to full WBC champion. But this wasn't just a title. It was a crown earned in fire. From a super lightweight grind to welterweight wars, Barrios had proven he wasn't just surviving. He was building something legendary. But the crown comes heavy. In November 2024, on the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson undercard, he faced Abel Ramos. He looked sharp early, dropped Ramos, controlled distance, but the fight spiraled in the middle rounds. Ramos caught him with a looping overhand, sending the champ to the canvas. Bloodied, but unbroken, Barrios fought through the fire. In the final rounds, he turned the tide again. Still, the judges couldn't agree. Split draw, title retained, but the questions grew louder. Then came July 19th, 2025, Las Vegas. He faced the legendary Manny Pacquiao, back for one final run. The younger, sharper Barrios boxed smart, but Pacquiao brought flashes of vintage chaos. It was a tense, back-and-forth war. When the final bell rang, no one knew who'd done enough. The verdict? 1 judge for Barrios. 2 had it even. A majority draw, leaving questions, but no clear victor. And yet, in every moment, from disputed wins to razor-thin escapes, one thing remains clear. He doesn't just fight. He grows through war. Each scar tells a story. Each comeback fuels the next chapter. He's now a world champion in a division filled with wolves, sharks, and kings in waiting. But behind the bright lights and raised fists lies a quieter, more complex story. One that can't be measured by titles or knockouts. Because when the gloves come off and the arena falls silent, another side of Barrios emerges. Away from the roar of the crowd, Mario shares a past with Omera Liliane Figueroa, a woman whose life revolves around fitness, family, and a fierce fighting spirit. She's not just any name in boxing. She's part of its lineage. Sister to champions Omar and Brandon Figueroa, daughter to the legendary trainer Omar Sr. Together, Mario and Omera have a daughter, Luna Sofia Barrios, born under a rare super blue moon in August 2024. A quiet miracle, arriving early and forever shifting the rhythm of their lives. But not all stories stay in harmony. In the months that follow, their bond begins to unravel. The shared posts stop. The silence on social media grows louder. Omera now speaks openly about her journey as a single mother. And Mario? He remains quiet. He always has. But those closest to him say he holds steady to what matters. His roots, his sister Selena, a fellow warrior in the ring, and her daughter Athena, who brings light into his world like a second chance at something pure. But when the gloves come off and the cameras stop rolling, where does a warrior go to breathe? For Barrios, it's home. Tucked away in San Antonio, where the streets still echo with memories of his childhood, he's carved out a quiet sanctuary. His house doesn't scream wealth. It speaks in softer tones, sharp architecture, clean lines, warm neutrals. No gold gates, no marble fountains, just space to think, to heal, to dream. It's the kind of place where the silence says more than a trophy ever could. Outside, the roar of an engine sometimes breaks that silence. Maybe it's his jet black Dodge Hellcat growling to life, raw, untamed, built like it's ready for war. Or his Cadillac Escalade, smooth and spacious, often seen cruising through his city like a king checking on his kingdom. And then there are whispers about a custom matte gray Mercedes-AMG, rarely spotted, never flaunted. Just like him, it moves in shadows, sharp and quiet. Barrios isn't flashy. You won't catch him dripping in designer or flexing a $1 million watch. His brand is grit, tempered by loyalty. A fighter's aesthetic, shaped by partnerships with performance-driven brands like Bad USA and SNAC Nutrition. So, the question now isn't just what title Mario Barrios will chase next. It's whether the life he's building outside the ring will be strong enough to carry the man he's becoming within it. Before you go, don't miss out on exclusive perks. Click the link in the description to become a channel member and enjoy awesome benefits, like suggesting future video topics, getting early access to new content 48 hours before anyone else, and much more. Your support means the world and helps us keep bringing you the stories you love. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. And while you're here, why not check out our deep dive into Daniel Dubois' Trust Me? You won't miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.